Logan, are you sure you feel all right?
Fine, all things considered.
Well, you look awfully pale and tired to me.
Didn't sleep too well.
I was under the impression that you didn't sleep at all last night. I heard you pacing back and forth across the floor more than half the night.
I've got things on my mind.
I know you do. This custody trial's been a drain on all of us. Are we anywhere near the end of these proceedings?
Well, both sides have presented their case. The only thing left are the closing remarks. Then it's up to Judge Lewis.
You're saying, then, that we might even get a verdict as early as this afternoon?
No, the judge will probably take a few days to review the testimony, but 2 days or 10 minutes, he'll only be being polite.
You really feel that there's that little doubt about the outcome?
Considering the testimony so far, I'd say the decision is very obvious.
Good morning, everybody. It certainly is a beautiful day for a trial, isn't it? Aha. So you're going to be bad sports. Hey, come on, somebody has to lose.
The fact is, Raven, we have nothing to say to you. It's as simple as that.
Geraldine, you shouldn't frown when you squinch up your face like that. It's very aging. So you're going to ignore me?
I've got a couple of words for you, but they're not fit for polite society.
Cliff, come on. Aren't you going to say hello?
Oh, Raven, that is you.
What are you doing?
Oh, I didn't recognize you in the light.
I don't think that's funny. I'll see you all in court.
Well, I feel as if I'd been left out of a private joke. Can someone tell me what that cryptic exchange was about?
Let's just say that Raven does her best work in the dark.
Let's go sit down, Geraldine.
Maybe more work than we know.
Refill? Coffee?
No, honey. Look, we better get going if we want to get there in time for the proceedings.
Well, I think I'll just have a second cup.
Honey, I just told you we don't have time. We have to be seated before court convenes.
Would you mind going without me?
Hey, what's wrong? You're not feeling well?
No, I'm fine. Fine.
Honey, we really should be there together.
Draper, I don't think that's such a good idea.
You thinking about the conversation we had last night?
It's been very awkward for me to be in the same room with you and Logan.
There's really no need to feel that way. Everything was settled last night.
Yeah, I'm sorry, you're right.
You know, I have so much faith in the fact that I love you. And I don't care whether we're alone, with Logan, or with 50,000 other people at Municipal Stadium. I love you.
I love you, too.
You know, the worst of it is all behind us now. Everything's going to be just like it was. No, it's going to be better than it was. So come on, why don't you get dressed and we'll show up at court together.
Yeah. You know, if Logan loses this custody battle, we'll never have to worry about being in the same room again, huh? Because he won't be here. He'll just leave.
Well, I was able to close the Crime Commission hearings sooner than I expected, so I got an earlier flight.
Honey, I'm so glad you're home. I really, really am. Oh, this house has been so empty.
Empty? With Kelly and all his puppets?
Let me take this, Bill. Kelly hasn't been much company these days.
You mean because of the Elliot Dorn business?
Well, the police haven't found his killer yet, and Kelly's been questioned extensively.
Well, he was an employee of Elliot's, and there was no secret about the antagonism between them.
There was more than antagonism, Mike. There was a fight.
Oh?
So the police just might think that Kelly was holding a grudge.
Well, that could constitute motive, but what about opportunity?
Okay, there they are speculating that possibly Kelly went back later that night to the club and used his pass key. He hadn't turned it in yet.
Oh, I see.
Now, I don't believe any of this happened, not for a second.
No, I don't. I'm sure Kelly didn't do it.
But the really distressing thing is that the police haven't found any other suspects.
Well, Kelly seems to be the victim of a set of damning circumstances.
Right now, they're questioning Elliot Dorn's business associates. Oh, I asked Draper to talk to Kelly just to be safe.
That was a wise idea, Nancy.
Well, I hope it wasn't a necessary precaution. I just hope he doesn't need a lawyer.
I'll have Draper fill me in on his conversation with Kelly. Nancy, now look, we'll do everything we can to protect the boy.
Oh, honey. Having you back makes me feel so much better.
You seem to have the situation under control.
Oh, no. Not just for Kelly. For me, too.
You know, it's getting to the point now where I walk down the street, I start looking over my shoulder, thinking that a police officer is going to snap the cuffs on me.
Nothing like that is going to happen. You didn't do anything wrong.
Yeah, but still, I'm beginning to feel like public enemy number 1. Well, maybe 4 or 5.
I hate to see you this uptight. If there's anything I can do.
Thanks. You know, maybe something good will come out of this whole mess.
What's that?
Well, I'm beginning to realize that my friends and my family are really behind me.
We believe in you.
All that support feels really good, but...
But what?
Well, Nancy seems really concerned about me. Well, she insisted that I talk to Mike's partner, Draper Scott.
Oh. Well, considering the circumstances, I suppose that was a reasonable thing to do.
Yeah, but having to talk about Elliot Dorn's murder with a 3-piece suit type made it seem a little bit too real.
What did he tell you?
Well, basically, not to worry. But if anything did happen to me, I should use my one phone call to get in touch with him. And he told me not to leave town.
Kelly, were you completely honest with him?
Well, sure. Now, look, he knew that Elliot and I didn't get along.
Does he know, well, that you were involved with the law previously?
It's nobody's business what happened in Rome, Jody.
Kelly, what if the police decide to check into your records? Your lawyer shouldn't be the last one to know.
I wasn't charged with anything.
Okay. What if you volunteer the information to the police? It'll look a lot better for you.
Since when did you become a lawyer?
I'm just trying to help. Look, I know how badly you want to hide the past, but I don't want to see it come back to haunt you.
I'm not telling anybody about it. Now, I made Nancy swear that she wouldn't say anything about it, and I want you to promise you won't open your mouth either, okay?
What's going on here? Is it tea time already?
What's the matter with you?
What's he doing here?
He is having a conversation with his friend named Jody.
Really? Well, this isn't a social club. You see those mirrors, that bar? This is a dance studio, in case you'd forgotten.
Yes, I know very well where I am. What are you getting so excited about?
When you come into this place, you come in here for one reason and one reason only, and that's to dance.
Gavin, my lesson doesn't start for another half an hour. You weren't even here yet.
You should have been doing your warm-ups, exercising your legs instead of your lips.
Hey, come on, lighten up, Gavin. Now, I just walked Jody over here and we were having a conversation for a few minutes. Nobody committed a crime.
You want to hang around? Why don't you take some lessons? I've been thinking about starting a class for people with 2 left feet.
You will move over Simon Legree. And since when do you think you start running Jody's life?
I run Jody's career. Ms. Travis has given me the permission to do just that.
Okay, calm down, Gavin. No harm was done.
And part of the agreement is that you don't question my judgment.
Well, there's a difference between helping me and ordering me around.
I don't see how you put up with this guy, Jody.
Butt out! This is between me and Jody.
All right. Calm down. Let's just forget about this. It's a dumb argument.
Change and get ready to work.
Will you mind if I stay around and watch?
This is a closed set. You know where the door is.
Yeah, well, what if I don't want to leave?
I'm not going to ask you twice. And I asked you once already.
Maybe I should make you throw me out.
You want to go through the door or through the window?
Okay, stop it. You two are acting like a couple of street kids.
It's your move, Twinkle Toes.
Oh, no, maybe I should think about this for a second. I might be taking my life into my hands.
There, see? You're not as dumb as you look.
Tangling with rough, tough Kelly McGrath may be a bad move. I might get stomped on like poor Elliot Dorn.
I'll call you tonight, Jody.
Gavin Wiley, that was a rotten thing to say.
You wanted me to get rid of him without a fight. That's what I did.
Well, the reason Kelly had a fight with Elliot Dorn was because he was bothering me.
Well, maybe it was a low blow. When you see Kelly, apologize for me.
What's gotten into you today?
I don't know. I'm feeling kind of low.
Well, that's no reason for you to take your problems out on other people.
I said I was sorry.
You want to tell me what's bothering you?
Let's get to work.
Could it be your depression has something to do with that woman in New York?
Why would you say that?
Her music was playing on the record player when I got here.
Well, someone must have put it on by mistake.
My guess is you put it on. Every time you think of that woman, you play that stupid record and then you get depressed.
Jody, I didn't put it on.
Well, then who did?
Go get dressed and start doing your exercises. Wiley Dance Studios.
Gavin, it's me.
What do you want?
I need a favor.
You don't need anything from me, remember?
It's not a personal call. It's strictly business.
Really?
Listen, I've called every dance studio in Monticello. One can't take any more dancers. One is closed for renovation until December. The other two are miles away from my hotel.
Well, thank you for giving me an update on the competition.
I understand your feelings about our sharing the same space, but I am desperate for a place to work out.
Why don't you make a phone call? I'm sure you can arrange to have one bought for you.
Kevin, I need to exercise.
A working dancer does need exercise.
Look, I'll pay double your usual rate.
You'll pay the flat fee.
Does that mean I can use your studio?
Yeah, I suppose it does. I can't afford to turn away a paying customer.
Oh, thank you, Gavin. You don't know how much I appreciate this.
Consider it a professional courtesy.
Oh, great. Thank you. I will be there this afternoon. Adieu. Anyone else would I have the courtesy to knock?
Well, I'm paying for that privilege. You're as beautiful as ever, Martine.
Thank you. Your business is concluded in Paris?
This is no time to talk business. This is time to say hello.
Hello.
You could act a little happier to see me.
I am happy. I am just not in very good mood. So.
Well, tell me what's wrong and I'll make it go away.
Well, I'm tired. I think I'm suffering from cabin fever. I have been cramped in this room since I arrived.
Only you could feel cramped in a 5-room hotel suite.
Well, why don't we find some sort of sidewalk cafe? The fresh air, the bite to eat would make me feel much better.
All in good time.
Oh, you have something more important to take care of first?
Yes. You could say that.
What?
Cliff, what are you doing?
Oh, I'm filling out a subscription to this magazine I found in Elliot Dorn's office. Do you think Miss October's hobbies are horseback riding and going to the opera? But not many people listen to a soprano when she walks down the...
You are in a courtroom. We are suing for custody of my child. I'm trying to prove that I'm going to be a decent father, and my lawyer is sitting at the table reading this junk.
Well, give me a break, will you? I got my closing remarks prepared, and they're very good. Besides, Rutledge is going to go first.
Until this case is finished, you will pay attention. Then you can get back to your literary pursuits.
All right, whatever you say.
Logan?
Mike, I'm glad to see you.
Glad I could be.
Mr. Nelson, do you wish to call another witness or present any additional evidence?
No, Your Honor, we have no further witnesses and no further evidence.
Mr. Nelson, you were granted a continuance based on your claim that the time would enable you to obtain information that you implied was very critical to
Yes,
your case.
I know, Your Honor, the continuance was asked for in good faith, but the evidence didn't materialize. At this time, we'd like to rest our case, Your Honor.
All right, very well. Now, I will permit brief closing statements by both attorneys, and I mean brief, gentlemen. Mr. Rutledge.
Thank you, Your Honor. My statement will be very brief because, in fact, there's very little left to be said. Your Honor, I believe it would be a terrible injustice to both the parent and the child if Raven Swift is denied custody of her natural son. Every word of testimony has shown her to be a caring, concerned, loving mother. And it was the burden of the father to provide evidence that would prove otherwise. So where is the evidence that Raven Swift is unfit to keep her own child? Where is the proof that she's abused, neglected, or in any way mistreated Jameson Swift?
Cliff.
Where are the complaints from the neighbors suggesting that she is anything but a totally loving mother? Where is the eyewitness who can state that Jameson Swift has received anything but the very, very best of care?
I have no idea.
Now, I point out, Your Honor, that there was only one truly qualified witness to the well-being of this child, whose future you will decide. Perhaps the most respected social welfare worker in all of Monticello, Mrs. Benita Thomas, who objectively reported to this court that Jameson Swift...
It's Raven's letter.
...happy and well-treated little boy.
Seems as though a harmony is hard to find, always on my mind, and frustrated days pass without sight, the edge of night, half dark, half light. Think we might wake up someday and be aware of all the games people play.
So where is the evidence that Raven Swift is unfit to keep her own child? Where is the proof that she is neglected, abused, or in any way mistreated Jameson Swift? Where are the complaints from the neighbors suggesting that she's been anything but a loving mother? Where is the eyewitness who can state that Jameson Swift has received anything but the very best of care? Now, let me remind you, Your Honor, there was only one truly qualified witness to the well-being of this child whose future you will decide. Perhaps the most respected social welfare worker in all of Monticello, Mrs. Benita Thomas, who has objectively reported to this court that Jameson Swift is a healthy, happy, and well-treated little boy.
My God.
And in conclusion...
It's Raven's letter.
If the court will permit me one small sentimental remark, Your Honor. It has been said that because God could not be everywhere at once, that he created mothers. Thank you very much.
Mr. Nelson, do you wish to make your closing remarks now?
Cliff, Your Honor, my name is Michael Carr. I'm an associate representing Mr. Swift.
Mr. Carr is very well known to this court.
Thank you, Your Honor. With the court's indulgence, we would like to ask for a 10-minute recess.
Well, for what purpose, Mr. Carr?
Well, some pertinent information has just come to my attention, and I would like the opportunity to discuss it with my client and my colleague.
Objection, Your Honor. I'm sure you'll agree we've already had enough delaying tactics.
It is quite important, Your Honor. I assure you that it will have a great deal of bearing on the decision in this case.
Well, very well, Mr. Carr.
Your Honor, Mr. Nelson has already rested the case for his client.
Yeah, but Mr. Carr hasn't the benefit of these proceedings, having heard them, Mr. Rutledge. No, I think we can survive a 10-minute delay. The court is still in session.
All rise. Mike, what's going on here, huh?
Take a look at this, Cliff.
This is a letter. This is Raven's letter. Where'd you find it? What had you pull this out of?
I pulled it out of your magazine.
I didn't know I had the letter, really. I didn't.
Yeah, but you stole the magazine from Elliot Dorn's office, didn't you?
Oh, the guy is dead. What's he going to do with a magazine like that, huh?
Well, apparently what he did with it was hide Raven's letter in it. And now that we've got it, we've got to use it.
can't believe this. You mean I had the letter all the time in that magazine?
I think we can convince Judge Lewis this evidence is important enough to warrant reopening the case.
Look, I don't know. If Rutledge wants to be a sticker on this, he could say we've closed our case already. We can't introduce any new evidence.
Don't think that's going to be a problem. Judge Lewis is a fair man, and when he knows what we have, he's going to give us permission.
I think so, too. And I've known him for a long time.
Well, why don't you handle the case, then? He'll listen to you before he'll listen to me.
Is that all right with you, Logan?
It's fine with me.
Okay.
All rise. Be seated.
Mr. Carr, have you had enough time to discuss this situation with your colleagues?
Yes, Your Honor. And we would ask further the court's indulgence. We would like to ask for a reopening of the trial for Mr. Swift.
Your Honor, I object in the strongest possible terms to the antics of Mr. Swift's attorneys. This is the second time this painful decision has been delayed. It is most unfair to both the mother and the baby.
Your Honor, if we may approach the bench to discuss the nature of this new evidence, I think the court will understand its importance to the case.
Very well, Mr. Carr. Please step up to the bench. You too, Mr. Rutledge.
I don't understand. What the hell does Mike do?
I have no idea, but I'm sure he knows what he's
He certainly knows it.
All right, gentlemen. Now, this court will permit these proceedings to resume, and Mr. Rutledge will be allowed to make still another closing statement at the conclusion if he so desires. So, Mr. Carr, what's your pleasure?
Your Honor, we would like to recall a previous witness, Raven Swift.
Do I have to? Why should I testify against myself?
Mrs. Swift, would you kindly take the stand?
Your Honor, I've already given a testimony. Why do I have to subject myself to their abuse?
Now, these are not criminal proceedings, Mrs. Swift. The immunity rule does not apply. We are merely trying to get at all the facts needed for my decision. Please remember that you're still under oath from your previous testimony. Very well, Mr. Carr, go ahead.
Thank you, Your Honor. Mrs. Swift, as Judge Lewis said, I did not have the privilege of hearing your testimony in this case.
Mr. Carr, it's not my fault you weren't here.
No, unfortunately, I could not be present. But I did read the transcript, and it would be quite simple for us to refresh both our memories as to what you said, especially concerning the period when you were separated from your husband.
Your Honor, do I have to say all this again?
Well, counsel will please try to avoid redundancies.
Yes, Your Honor, of course. Mrs. Swift, when you decided to separate from your husband, you also decided to go abroad. Is that correct?
Yes, I already said that.
So you purchased an airline ticket, one ticket to London. It was a one-way ticket, wasn't it?
Yes, I explained I purchased a one-way ticket because it was cheaper. I did not have very much money, and I assumed my mother would help pay for the trip back.
And, of course, you only needed one ticket because you were not taking your child with you.
No, I did not want to subject my baby to the rigors of a trip across the ocean.
Mm-hmm. So you left your child with April and Draper Scott, didn't you?
Yes.
And what did you tell Mr. and Mrs. Scott about your plans at that time?
I told them where I was going, and I asked them to take care of my baby while I was gone.
In reality, didn't you tell the Scotts that they could keep your boy and raise him as their own son?
Your Honor, you said I didn't have to answer the same questions.
You can give the same answers, Mrs. Swift.
All right. I told them that I was going to London. I told them that I loved my baby very, very much, and would they please take care of him while I was gone for a few weeks.
A few weeks, but actually you were gone for several months, weren't you?
Yes, and then I came back to get my baby.
You came back to get your letter, too, didn't you?
I beg your pardon?
Well, you left a letter with Mr. and Mrs. Scott, didn't you? That's in the transcript.
Yes, I did. I left a letter giving them permission to take care of my baby.
Exactly what did you say in that letter?
I already told that story. Do I have to keep saying these things over and over again?
All right, Mrs. Swift, I'll spare you that trouble. We'll have the court stenographer read your statement, if Your Honor will permit.
Yes, permission is granted. Oh, Miss Frobish, would you please read that passage?
Yes, Your Honor. Mr. Nelson, Mrs. Swift, isn't it true that you gave April and Draper Scott a letter of permission to keep your son? Mrs. Swift, I did give them a letter, that's true. Mr. Nelson, what did it say? Mrs. Swift, it merely gave them the right to take care of Jamie during my brief absence. I thought it was proper to give them some kind of authorization. I was a lawyer's wife, you see. Mr. Nelson, isn't this the truth, that the letter said, in effect, that they had the right to keep Jamie forever? to raise him as their own child, to adopt him if they wished. Mrs. Swift, that's a lie.
Thank you very much, Miss Rubbish. That's enough. Mrs. Swift, you recall that testimony, don't you?
Yes.
And you still consider your reply correct?
Yes, that's what the letter said.
Are you familiar with this, Mrs. Swift? You do recognize this letter, don't you, Mrs. Swift?
I'm not sure.
Well, it is your handwriting, isn't it? Would you like to read it to make sure?
No, I don't have to read it.
Then allow me. To whom it may concern, I, Raven Swift, mother of Jameson Swift, do hereby give Mr. and Mrs. Draper Scott full and complete permission to raise my son as their own, with complete rights to make any and all decisions on his care, education, and upbringing, and to initiate whatever proceedings they deem necessary for legal guardianship or adoption. I declare that I am Jameson Swift's only legal parent and make this statement in full confidence and trust that April and Draper Scott will make ideal parents. And it is signed Raven Alexander Jameson Swift. This is the letter you left with Mr. and Mrs. Scott on the evening you went to London, isn't it?
I don't know. I thought that letter was lost.
Oh, yes, you thought it was lost, which is why you felt completely free to commit perjury in this courtroom.
I forgot what was in the letter. It was a long time ago. I don't remember.
In truth, you attempted to destroy this letter because you remembered its contents only too well. Mrs. Swift, you lied in this courtroom about this letter. You lied about your unfailing devotion to your child. And you lied about your true motivation in wanting him. It's vindictiveness, isn't it? It's an act of pure spite against your husband. And Mrs. Swift, spite has nothing to do with mother love.
That is not true. I love my baby. All right, I lied about the letter, but that's because I want my baby. Don't you understand? I have to have my baby. Your Honor, a lie has been told in this courtroom, and we submit it was not just a simple lie, but one which reveals an important truth. The letter we submitted in evidence not only proves that Raven Swift was perfectly willing to give up forever the child she professes to love, but she was also willing to commit perjury in order to achieve her goal. Now, Mrs. Swift contends that the lie was motivated by the desperation of mother love. We submit that it was motivated by the unhealthy emotions of rage, revenge, and vindictiveness. As in all custody matters, the welfare of the child is the primary ingredient, the only real basis for a just decision. We ask you to consider carefully, Your Honor, whether this child will benefit or suffer when he's raised as the instrument of one parent's hatred of the other. I think we all agree that the key ingredient in raising a happy child is love. And it's love that the father, Logan Swift, brings to this court as the sole and powerful argument of his case for custody. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Carr. Miss Nelson. Mr. Rutledge, is there anything further you would like to say at this time?
No, Your Honor, there's not.
Very well. This court will now stand in adjournment until such time as I am able to render my decision. The respective attorneys will be notified.
All rise.
That was terrific. It's too bad you didn't get to Elliot Dorn's office a little earlier. Maybe you would have found the letter instead of me.
I have not lost yet.
So, now you're the one who found the letter after all, huh?
Oh, I found the magazine, didn't I?
Mike, you were marvelous. What an incredible surprise.
I'd still like to know where the letter came from.
You, me, Logan, you and I both saw it fly right off the terrace.
You can thank Cliff for finding it, April.
Thank you, Cliff.
Just did a little detective work, that's all.
We'll tell you all about it later. Now it's lunchtime and I'm buying.
No. Draper and I have a better idea. You are all coming up to our house for a celebration.
I think a celebration may be premature, April. The verdict's not in yet.
I am willing to accept the invitation anyway.
I'm willing to celebrate anywhere. How can we lose after what happened?
Oh, it's so wonderful. I'm so happy.
Well, come on, let's get going. Mike, it's a shame Nancy wasn't here to see you at this big moment.
Yes, she'd be disappointed she couldn't be here. She had to be upstate. But I think when I tell her, she's going to be very happy what happened.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Yes, good for Logan. He deserves to have some good news.
First offense, neglect of duty, failing to padlock the scene of a crime and thus allowing unauthorized persons to have access. Second offense, giving a civilian a key and allowing him to remove or tamper with possible evidence.
How about a third offense? Making enemies with Raven Swift.
That's got nothing to do with this.
It doesn't, huh? I think it has a lot to do with it. She was in the Unicorn that night. She was looking for that letter that would help.
She was looking for a lost compact.
Oh, is that what she told you?
Look, I didn't call you in here to discuss Raven Swift.
We're discussing the Unicorn, Chief.
Now, I didn't say she was justified in her actions, no matter where she got her key from.
All right, let's say she went for a compact. Why didn't she go in daylight? Why did she go when the place was closed up and in total darkness? Why is she sneaking around in the middle of the night?
The same thing can be said for Cliff Nelson.
All right, that's what I'm saying. They were both there looking for the same thing.
A letter? What makes you think there was a letter there?
Because you told me.
I did.
Yeah. When Elliot came to your apartment the night he was killed, he told Raven that he was going to go back to his office and look for a document and see her in court.
You think that document was Raven's letter?
I do, and so does Cliff. That's why I gave him the key, so he could find something. And after he found Raven running around in Elliot's office, he came up with a pretty frightening theory. You want to hear it?
Yeah, I'm listening.
Well, if Elliot had the letter, why did he?
You tell me.
Well, I don't know. Maybe he was a Confederate of hers, holding the letter for her. It doesn't make any sense. It seems like the thing should have been destroyed.
That's assuming the letter exists in the first place. You know Raven denies that.
Oh, of course she would deny it. But I know it's got to exist. So if he's holding the letter, maybe he's holding it because it's a blackmail letter.
That's an awful lot of speculation, Deborah.
Oh, Chief, it makes so much sense. It explains why Elliot said those things to Raven. It explains why Raven went back to Elliot's office that night.
Go on.
I don't want to.
You were going to say that also explains why Elliot Dorn was murdered.
Chief, I'm on assignment. I gotta go. See you later.
Watch your balance. Really reach now. Yeah.
Don't worry, Gavin. I'm not here as a spectator. I got a lunch date with Jody. And by the way, did she ask you for permission?
You're really sore at me, aren't you? Who, me? Well, how could I be sore at a lovable guy like you? I guess I came down pretty hard on you this morning. I'm sorry. Okay, Jody. Why don't you get changed and get ready to go out?
Okay.
I think I ought to tell you that Calvin Stoner was asking me about you. About me? Why did he ask you about me? Maybe he thought we were buddies. Well, what did he want to know? He asked me about what I thought about your temperament. What'd you tell him? I told him I thought you were a cream puff. That you really didn't have the nerve to kill anybody.
Well, it's about time you two had a normal conversation.
How do you know it was normal?
Well, it looked normal enough. I could see you out of the corner of my eye.
Well, that I should have been on the mirror. No wonder your timing was off.
Oh, excuse me. Well, here I am.
Yeah, come on in. Martine, this is Jody Travis.
Oh, hi.
And her friend Kelly McGrath.
Hi.
This is Martine Duval. She'll be using the studio for a while. Oh, Jody, you all set?
Yeah, I'm ready. Listen, Martine, it was nice meeting you, and if you're here in a couple of hours, I'll see you then. Sure. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye, Dad. Bye.
Don't feed it too much, huh?
Right.
Kelly, do you think that's her?
Her who?
He did call her Martine, didn't he?
Well, that's the name he used, yeah.
Then it has to be her. The dancer from New York, the one he calls Martini. No wonder why he's been acting so strange lately.
The changing room is over here.
I know.
And the record player's over here. And
I know.
you can pick out your own music.
Thank you.
I have to go. I can't hang around. I've got to take care of a couple of business details. That's what happens when you own a dance studio. You become a businessman.
Gavin, where is it?
Where's what?
Where is my music?
I must have removed it.
Why?
Because I just did, that's why. The record was getting worn out.
It sounded fine to me last time I heard it.
Well, it sounded pretty lousy to me last time I heard it. I'm sick of it, Martine. Is that a good enough answer for you? Have fun.
Thank you.
Molly, you're a miracle worker. The sandwiches look delicious. Thank you.
Well, it really was very simple, Mrs. Scott.
And she whipped them up in such a short time.
I only hoped I'd made enough.
Oh, don't worry about it.
Can I do anything to help?
Oh, you sit there and relax, Geraldine. And can I freshen your drink?
No, I wish I would have brought a bottle of champagne.
The verdict is not in, Cliff. Don't push your luck. Thank you, Molly.
Well, I think I'm going to have to agree with Cliff Nelson. I can't see Raven winning after what happened in that courtroom this morning.
Well, I'm sure we won't have to wait too long. I have the feeling Judge Lewis will have his verdict within 24 hours.
Well, 24 hours seems like a lifetime to me. I think it's the hardest thing about trials, waiting for the verdict.
Well, I still don't know what happened. You were going to tell me. How'd you get that letter?
Well, I told you all about that. It was all Cliff's work. Now, he may not be much of a lawyer, but he's a wonderful detective.
Wait a minute, I've been thinking about this stuff. You know, I may be willing to change jobs. This detective work is fun.
Now, don't get carried away.
No, I'm working on my next case already.
Which one's that?
Elliot Dorn's murder.
Are you serious, Cliff?
Yeah, I know who killed Elliot Dorn, and I'm going to prove it, too.
Oh, I'll get that. Are you making a joke, or is this the truth?
Just wait and see, huh?
I'll give us a hint. Come on.
I'll do more than that in a day or two. I'll give you the murderer.
Mrs. Scott, I have to tell you something.
What is it?
Well, I just couldn't stop her. Oscar said she was already in the elevator. I guess he didn't know that she wasn't invited.
Hello, everybody. I know, April, you forgot to invite me, but I'm here.
Well, perhaps I shouldn't say this, but I'm inclined to agree with Cliff Nelson. I can't see Raven winning this case after what happened in that courtroom this morning.
Well, I'm sure we won't have long to wait. I have the feeling that Judge Lewis is going to hand down his verdict within 24 hours.
Well, 24 hours still seems like a lifetime to me. I think that's the hardest thing about trials, you know, the waiting for the verdict.
Cliff, I still don't understand what happened. You were going to tell me how that letter came up.
Well, I told you. It was all Cliff's work. I don't know how good a lawyer he really is, but he's a pretty good detective.
Just a minute, I have seriously considered changing occupations, you know? This detective work's a lot of fun.
Let's not get carried away, Cliffy.
I'm working on a new case already.
Which one?
Elliot Dorn's murder.
Are you serious, Cliff?
Yeah, Mike. I know who killed Elliot Dorn, and I'm going to prove it, too.
I'll get that,
Yeah.
Mrs. Scott.
Cliff, are you joking or are you telling the truth?
Wait and see.
Give us a hint.
I'll do more than that in a day or two. I'll give you the murderer.
Mrs. Scott, I have to tell you, there was no way to stop her. Oscar said that she was already in the elevator. I guess he thinks she's invited to the
Hello,
party.
everybody. I know, April, you forgot to invite me to your little party, but here I am.
Damn it, Raven, you weren't invited.
Oh, my goodness, then that makes me a party crasher, doesn't it?
But I'm sure it's all right with you, April and Draper, because we so rarely get together for a social event.
As a matter of fact, Raven, it isn't. You have invited yourself up to this apartment once too often.
Oh, well, don't worry. It'll never happen again, really. Thank you, Cliff. You see, I just couldn't pass up the opportunity to come here, all my conspirators in the same room.
Come on, Raven.
No, actually, that's not true. There's one missing. I'm surprised you didn't invite Deborah Saxon here.
For heaven's sake, Raven, stop making a fool of yourself.
But it was just too good an opportunity to come here and tell you all exactly what I think of you, how much I loathe and despise each and every one of you.
It's enough, Raven. Let's go home, shall we? Raven, you've delivered the message. Now get back in the elevator and push the down.
No, I haven't even begun to deliver my message. You're all so proud of yourselves, aren't you? Look at you! Congratulating yourself on how clever you were in the courtroom.
After what happened this morning, it's proved how really deceitful you are.
Why don't you tell us about it, Raven? Did you know that Elliot Dorn had your letter?
Of course she knew, Mike. That's why she was sneaking around Elliot Dorn's office last night, wasn't it?
No, I didn't know Elliot Dorn had my letter.
Oh, didn't you? You didn't post Elliot Dorn outside the lobby and then make a paper airplane out of the letter?
Oh, my God, that's exactly how it happened. She threw the letter off the terrace, and he was standing there ready to pick it up.
Is that the story, Raven?
Why don't you want to save it, Raven? You'd have been better off destroying it.
Shut up! Will y'all just shut up? I don't want to hear another word about that letter.
You know, maybe you didn't know that Elliot Dorn was out there. Was he pulling a number on you?
Look, it doesn't matter.
No, nothing matters but your revenge, right?
You're not out of this apartment within 2 minutes.
That's
I'm calling the police.
That's true. You don't give a damn about Jamie. The only thing you care about, the only reason you want him back is so you can hurt me.
I am warning you,
Take it
Raven.
easy, April. She'll be gone.
You, little Miss Innocent. I bet this whole party was your idea, right?
Yes.
Yes, you just wanted to gloat over your triumph. You don't care about Jamie either. The only thing you care about is taking men away from
Damn
me.
it, Raven, stop it.
You think she wanted you? You think you're such a great catch? She wanted you because you were engaged to me, and she just wanted to see if she could take you away.
I was finished with you a long time before I met April. Don't argue with
The
her, Draper.
same
She's
thing
hysterical.
goes for you too, Logan. That's why she wanted you. That's why she came to you with her little fluttery eyelashes and her chocolate candy kisses.
That's enough.
Leave me alone!
Just...
I hate you!
Raven.
I hate you all! I could
come
kill
on.
you! Let go of me! I hate you all! I wish you were all dead! All I want is my baby!
Well, we can't let that destroy the party. Molly, would you see to our guests, please?
Yes, of course, Mr. Scott.
Well, I have to be back at the office anyway. Nancy's going to be calling me from upstate, and I want to let her know what's happened.
Yeah, I've got a client meeting myself.
Oh, it's a shame. I've got 12 sandwiches left.
Well, I'll take some, Molly. I get hungry around 4
Oh,
o'clock.
that's a good idea, Mr. Nelson. I'll just pack you up some.
Thank you, Molly.
Now, please, we mustn't let what happened affect how we all feel, the good feelings we've had. I have the feeling that Logan is going to get his little boy back. And that means that I will, too.
I think we have every reason to hope, Geraldine. Cliff, you heading downtown?
Oh, no, I think I'm going to stay around here and protect my client. Raven looks really upset.
The whole world's against me.
You turn people against you, Raven.
There was a conspiracy with you and Mike Carr and everybody else down there in that room.
All we wanted was the truth. You knew that letter was genuine, and you went into that courtroom, and you lied. Whose conspiracy is that? Yours or ours?
Now you're going to take my baby away from me. Don't you understand? He's the only thing that I have left.
Sing another tune, Raven. You hate playing mother. You know it.
Well, then why did I do all those things you're accusing me of? It's because I want my baby!
Well, let's leave her alone. She can have her cry, then she can go home.
No, please don't leave. Don't go away. I don't want to be alone, Logan. I want to talk to you.
All right, you want to have another shot at me in private? Is that it?
Why can't you understand? Why can't you look at me the way I really am? I want to change. Don't you see? I just want to have a family. A family doesn't matter to you. I don't have a mother. I don't have a father. I don't have anybody.
Your story touches me deeply.
Logan, when the judge gives his decision tomorrow, if he gives you custody, you don't have to accept.
You must be joking.
Can't you give me custody? All I want is legal custody, please. Look, you can have him. He can live with you. I'll make some kind of agreement. I'll do anything you want.
That's a contradiction, Raven. If you have legal custody, that means you have Jamie.
I just want my baby to meet mine, don't you see? Look, I won't even have to see him that much. I'll visit him once a week, once a month. Whatever you want, I'll do whatever you want.
The answer is no.
Well, then why can't we both be the parents again? Please, let's get back together. Look, I know you used to love me. April is gone now. Please. Logan, please, can't we be a family again?
You really must be out of your mind, Raven, if you think there's any chance of us getting back together.
Logan, you used to love me so much when I first had Jamie. Don't you remember? Can't you love me like that again? Don't you want to be happy?
Sure. Of course I do. Maybe I don't know what would make me happy, but I certainly know what wouldn't.
I'll be different. I'll be good. I promise. Please. Look, we can live a wonderful life. We can go away together. We'll go on vacation. Don't you think we've earned that?
I'll tell you what you've earned, Raven. You've earned a rejection from Judge Lewis tomorrow. I don't know whether you'll get it. I certainly hope so, because if it happens, I want Jamie back. I want him back as soon as you can bundle up his little baby things. Now, if you will excuse me, I have another court appointment this afternoon.
Logan! Damn it!
Well, how is she?
Well, she's still slightly hysterical. I'm very sorry that this happened.
It's not your fault.
Certainly seems to have broken up the party, doesn't she?
Yes, she has. Mike and Draper had to get back to the office, and Geraldine had to get down to the studio.
I am awfully sorry, but I have an appointment myself with the grand jury. I just hate the thought of leaving Raven on your
It's
hands.
all right, it's all right. I'll see to it that she gets... Oh, God, I can't take her home. Molly has just left to visit Emily at the hospital. Means I don't have anyone to take care of Julia. Cliff?
You want me to take care of her?
Look, don't worry about it. I'm sure Raven can get home on her own.
No, I don't think that's a good idea. I think one of us should see to it that she gets home. If anything happened to Raven, I don't think any one of us would feel very good about that, now would we?
Well, I'm not too sure about that.
Cliff?
Okay. Who knows? Maybe I'll earn some points for my merit badge. I'll take care of her. I hope.
Well, I don't have the slightest doubt. The famous Martini is in Monticello.
Hey, isn't that the girl that Gavin knew in New York?
Yeah, she was his dancing partner. And a lot more than that, I'm sure. You know, I knew the first time I met Gavin there was something he was brooding about in the past. I should have known it was another woman.
Isn't it always?
Well, I thought maybe it was his own disappointment in his career. I was always under the impression that Gavin wanted to be a great dancer, not just a teacher.
You know, that's something I've never understood. Well, how a guy that doesn't dance can teach.
Well, he shows us steps. He tells us what to do and how to do it. He also tells us when we're wrong. You know, but you're right. I've never actually seen him dance. Never.
Well, maybe he just isn't very good.
No. I think he was good. I just know he was.
Woman's intuition.
Something happened in New York. Something that made him stop dancing.
Martini?
Martine. She's French.
Well, maybe Gavin quit dancing because she walked out on him. I mean, how can a guy be expected to dance with a broken heart?
Yeah, I guess you're right.
Oh, come on. Do you think a guy's going to quit doing something that he loves just because his girlfriend walks out on him?
Not the romantic type, are you?
I didn't say that.
Deborah! Hi. What are you doing here?
Lunchtime.
Well, sit down. Join us.
Sit down, McGrath. Don't worry, I'm not going to run you in. I'm only here to eat my lunch.
Does that mean I'm safe for another day?
Stop worrying so much about being arrested, Kelly. There's no warrant out for you. Believe me.
I keep telling him how silly he is to worry about it. Bad tempers don't make people murderers.
Don't they? Well, aren't most murders caused by a rash of bad temper?
As a matter of fact, they are. Very few murders are premeditated. Usually somebody gets mad, loses their head, and then people lose their lives. And on the other hand, a lot of murders are committed by people who feel that they have good reason.
I didn't think about any reason when I hit Elliot Dorn. I just lost my head.
Look, do me a favor, Deborah. Tell this guy to stop thinking about it. Tell him he's off the top of your suspect list, okay?
Can you?
I don't want to lie to you, Kelly. I can't claim that you're off the list. But if it'll make you feel any better, you're not on the top of my list.
Wow. Well, that's something anyway.
Well, who is?
I don't want to go into it right now. I do have a theory, though. So stop worrying. I have a feeling that this case is going to be solved in a real short time.
You want me to say something, don't you?
If you wish.
Well, you haven't lost your fluidity, that's for one thing.
And you haven't lost the knack of making grudging compliments.
What do you want me to say, that you're perfect?
You don't have to say a thing.
Obviously, they loved you in Europe, didn't they? How was the tour? Successful?
By whose standards?
Did it make money?
No.
Critical esteem?
Quite a lot of that, yes. Would you like to see my notices?
Only if they're in English. Listen, you said the other day that you're here in Monticello for professional reasons. Are you going to dance here?
Perhaps.
Where? There's not a dance company here. Is there a musical coming to town? Are you going out on the road? What's the story?
Well, there may be a dance company. A new one. It's about time this city had a company of its own.
You don't even know this city. Why are you so concerned about its cultural development?
I am not talking about a subsidized company. This would be private.
A private dance company?
You got it.
I see. And he's paying for it, is that it? Am I right or wrong?
You're right.
Mr. Schuyler Whitney.
Do you think there is something wrong with that, Gavin?
Oh, no, nothing at all. It's really nice being rich, isn't it? You ought to know.
I'm not rich. I'm a working dancer. And what are you?
I'm not a dancer, that's for sure. Working or any other kind.
I'm just a teacher, that's all.
Yes. And the very best one, too. I remember.
Hi.
Hi. Well, excuse me, but I have to get dressed. I have an appointment. Bye. Goodbye. She's very pretty, isn't she? I'd love to see her dance.
Yeah, well, I want to see you dancing now.
No cries of welcome home, mommy, from the baby. From Mrs. Twilly. She says she took Jamie to the park. She'll be back about 4. Well, at least you can get some rest.
Goodbye, Cliff.
You sure you're all right?
I'm fine, thank you.
You look terrible.
You say the sweetest things.
Last night when we met in the Unicorn.
I don't want to talk about that.
Just a minute. Last night when we met in the Unicorn, you were running around there. Were you looking for the letter?
No.
Take it easy, will you? We've already got the letter. It's already been admitted to evidence.
I was looking for a solid gold compact.
You were looking for the letter, all right. What I don't know is why didn't you take it the first time you were there? You wanted to take it the first time you were there, but you were afraid to hang around the scene of a crime too long. Was that it?
I don't know what you're talking about.
What I'm talking about is why didn't you take the letter when you went there to murder Elliot Dorn?
You have no idea who you're dealing with. Now get out of here. Get out of here!
Well, you know my attitude about optimistic predictions, but this time I really think we have better than a 50-50 chance of winning it. Which means that Logan may have his child back within a few days. Hang on just a second, Nancy. Anna left me a message. I haven't had a chance to look at. Well, what do you know? It may be sooner than that. Judge Lewis is going to hand down his decision tomorrow morning. Yeah. Well, that's a shame that you won't be able to be back here, but you might be back for an even happier occasion. Yeah, we're going to keep our fingers crossed. I'll do that. Love you, darling. Bye-bye.
Sorry I'm late, Mike. I had to ferry Raven home to him.
Oh? Well, that was above and beyond the call of duty.
I don't think she appreciated it. Tell Nancy about what happened today?
Oh, yes, and I also told her about what's going to happen tomorrow morning.
Oh, that was fast.
Maybe a new world's record.
Yeah, this is good news. Has Raven been notified?
Well, her lawyer will tell her.
Poor Rutledge. Mike, if this case goes against her, I'd hate to be in her path.